Hey guys, welcome back to a new Boom Beach video. I'm here on my level 72 account now, and we're gonna be doing a weird kind of troop combination. Now today, I'm gonna be using F tier troops that I've ranked in a troop tier list a while back, and I'm gonna try to use them all together, and we're gonna see what happens. I don't really know the outcome of this. So let's boost up some resource reward just so we have some extra stuff going into this. And we'll get more stuff as we go. And we also have a mega crab coming soon, so that's super hype as well. Now, I have a confession. I've actually done this video already 2 different times, and the echo in my new apartment is just crazy. So I've tried to hang like a blanket up, and I'm hoping that it ends up being better than it has been the last couple times I've recorded this. And it sounds like already it is a lot better. Yeah, so let's talk about F tier troops. Now, some of you might be offended I put the Grenadiers and the medics in this F tier troop list. Now I have to say, when I did the troop tier list, I included proto troops as well. So we had troops like the engineer ranking dead last on the list. So obviously that is below an F, that is a G tier troop, a Z tier troop, just so bad it's off the end of the scale. These troops, however, are a little bit different. If I had to rank all of the normal Boom Beach troops we have all the time, I would put these 4 at the very bottom. So I think other troops have more abilities than these 4 troops, and I just don't really like any of these 4 troops, so that's kind of why I put them here. Now, Grenadiers, I have to say, are probably like the top of this list, because Grenadiers, I mean, are still decent, but again, like, I don't think Grenadiers are that good. It's probably a hot take because I know a lot of people use Grenadiers. I know that people use Grenadiers and Bombardiers together. I don't really understand the reason. Just use all Bombardiers instead. It's way more efficient. I think they kind of shoot the same, so people think they might go well together, or that the Grenadiers are clearing mines, which is true. They do clear mines, but it's just not worth having the troop combination or the troop space used for that. So that is why I, as a maxed out player, or even anyone who is a maxed out player or at least has Bombardiers, like, Grenadiers are useless after you get Bombardiers. I mean, Bombardiers are just infinitely better. They deal way more damage. They are able to target stuff around the same distance. Like, there's really nothing the Bombardier has on the there's nothing the Grenadier has on the Bombardier when it comes to this rank. And also medics. Let's talk about medics. Now, I think a lot of people will be offended with me putting medics in this list, because a lot of people like T-Med, which is tanks and medics. Now, if you're one of those people, don't take this the wrong way or anything. I just don't think that's a good combination. I sincerely think, and this is one of my deepest Boom Beach convictions, I sincerely think that just bringing tanks instead of medics after you get a hero, which hero either Dr. Kavan or Bullet, which is pretty soon you get Dr. Kavan, that bringing all tanks over a couple bits medics is just better. And that's one of my biggest convictions. I've had way more success with T-Med, or with all tanks, than I have with T-Med. I just don't like T-Med. That's probably part of the reason I feel so strongly about this. T-Med used to be big back in the day, but that was before we got heroes. Now we have heroes that heal your troops. Now we have heroes like Bullet, Energy Drink, that literally just soaks up damage from all of the defenses, and you can keep activating Energy Drink to keep him alive. So there's really not a need for medics anymore. So that's probably one of my biggest Boom Beach convictions. It's T-Med is way worse than just bringing all tanks, because all tanks is just a strong combination. So a couple more troops we have left. We have the mechs, which, I'll be honest, they're cool. I like the way they look. I like the way they attack. I like the way they walk. They're just weaker than the Scorcher. That's all there is to it, in my opinion. They're just a weaker version of the Scorcher. They deal less damage, and they have less HP than the Scorcher, and they take up the same amount of space as the Scorcher. So in my opinion, like, just use a Scorcher at that point. Don't bring the mech. So that's kind of why the mech is on this list. And finally, I think probably the least controversial troop is the Cryoneer. I think pretty much everyone has to admit that the Cryoneer is at the bottom of the regular Boom Beach troop list. I mean, I don't really know if anyone can argue a case against that. Now, I know that people will try because a lot of top players used to use Cryoneers. And you might look at that and say, oh, all these top players using Cryoneers, maybe they're pretty good if the top players are using them. That's a valid argument, I feel like. But you have to look at it two different ways. First of all, we have Bombardiers now, which are the best troop in my opinion. Nobody, at least from what I can tell by looking on the leaderboard, nobody is using RZCM anymore. That's just not a troop combination that's as good as Bombardiers. And second of all, I really don't think the Cryoneer is helping that much in that combination. Zookas are crazy good. Zookas are crazy strong. Then you're bringing in a bunch of little minions, your little riflemen, which makes your troop combination even stronger. So, I mean, you get to a point where it's like, okay, how much work is the actual Cryoneer doing in this combination? And I really don't think it's that much. So I want to say that as a lower level player, I've never seen anyone use Cryoneers except for the leaderboard. I've never come across anyone and have looked at their boats and saw Cryoneers. If I'm being like completely honest, I don't remember ever coming across someone who has had Cryoneers in their boats. And I'm sure there's been people. I mean, obviously there's been people, but it's very rare, and I think that's for a reason. It's because, one, they suck to play with. Two, they cost kind of a lot of gold to retrain. Three, they're just only good with one combination. And I know that other troops like the Cryoneer, not like the Cryoneer, but other troops are only good with one combination also. That's kind of unfortunate we lost that. 700,000 gold to retrain my army. That is a lot. Some other troops are only good with one combination as well. So I don't want to use that to discount them. But to be fair, like, I think a troop like the Cryoneer had the potential to be used in multiple combinations. And the fact that they only used in one is kind of telling, I feel like. I also want to say, like, Boom Beach can probably do a better job with the Cryoneers. I think they definitely deserve a buff, in my opinion. Like, again, I think they're super weak troops. I don't think they do too much. And I could be wrong. I mean, I really haven't played with them too much, so I might be wrong. So let me know down below if you feel otherwise. But, like, look at this. They're just running all over the place, and I hate that. I hate the way they walk. I hate the way they run. They run in front of my tanking unit, which sucks. I don't like that at all. I just don't think Cryoneers are very good. Alright, so that was that base. Now we'll grab some of these crates, find the next player, and move in. This base will be pretty easy. So, yeah, honestly, now that I think about it, the Cryoneer is probably my most controversial, because I said I would place them dead last in the troop combination. I mean, you have to take in mind what troops all of these troops are up against. Because if I was forced to pick out the four lowest troops in Boom Beach, you have to think about what troop would replace these troops. And when you think of the other troops, the Riflemen, Heavy, Warrior, I mean, obviously, like, the Warrior, Zooka, and Bombardier are just three amazing troops just on top of the game. No one can argue that those are like the three best troops in Boom Beach. No one, I feel like no one can argue that. I mean, tanks potentially, but Warriors and Bombardiers just blow tanks out of the water, in my opinion. So what other troops are there that would replace the Cryoneer or Medic or Grenadier? I mean, we have the tanking troops, the Scorcher, Heavy, Riflemen. I feel like the Riflemen you get so early in the game, that's really the only troop that you get early on. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's really good against, like, single shot defenses. And as a low level, Ruka and Hookah are very good combinations. They're just good all-around troops, I feel like. And top players use Riflemen too with Bombardiers. So I guess that really leaves us with only the Scorcher. The Scorcher is the only troop left in this list that isn't accounted for. I mean, the tank is accounted for based on the fact that it's probably around the top 3, but I would say it's still worse than the top 3, which are the Riflemen, Bombardiers, and Zookas. Okay, we found a new opponent. Let's just hit this base and call it a day, and then try to do an upgrade. So yeah, the Scorcher is the only troop left. I mean, obviously the Scorcher won't replace the mech because it's just better. It deals more damage and has more HP. I don't think the Scorcher is better than medics at all. I know you use medics in RZCM also, but like, I don't think medics are that good, TBH. Like, now that we have heroes, just bring Dr. Gavan or something, and I think you're sitting way better. Because then you can use that space for something else. I'm not saying that Dr. Gavan is better than medics. I'm just saying that Dr. Gavan doesn't take up troop space. So that leaves us with, Bombardiers, I think would be the only troop that could possibly replace a Scorcher. And now that I think about it, I would say they're probably pretty close in usability. I mean, there are certain bases that you use Scorchers on. You use Scorchers in operations quite a bit. If you're doing an AZ hit and you need something to tank, you can use a Scorcher. Now though, you can use like Taunt or something instead of a Scorcher, so maybe that's a downfall for the Scorcher. A lot of people use Scorchers in tanks, which is a pretty strong combination. I just think there are more use cases for the Scorcher than there are for the Grenadier. Okay, but let me know down below what you guys are thinking with everything I've said. I know I've said a lot. I've voiced my opinions on the worst troops. Maybe next time I'll use the 4 best troops in Boom Beach, and we'll try that combination out. Okay, we're gonna upgrade a rocket launcher. I know it's cheap, but I have to do it. And look at this. We boosted this up, but we're gonna remove it because we got a better resource reward by 1%, which isn't much. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely drop a like if you did, and also make sure you guys are using code COSMIC in the shop to help support us. And I'll talk to you guys in the next Boom Beach video. Bye.